past the silver screen. Steven, JT, Bruce, let's look past them together.
What is going on, everybody? This is JT from Past the Silver Screen, and I'm here to give you my spoiler-free review of Obsession. Now, I gotta be honest with all of you out there, horror is not my typical go-to genre. It's actually low on the totem pole for me, but I am trying to broaden my horizons and watch more horror, more rom-coms, more of those genres that I wouldn't necessarily pick on a day-to-day watch basis. But I went and saw this with a good friend of mine, Mike. Shout out to Mike for going with me, and I really enjoyed it. I really did. It is one of those movies where it's not necessarily like super scary. There are some jump scares. There are some moments that makes you kind of like jittery, but this is one of those like psychological thrillers. It messes with your psyche a little bit. Like, you get so anxious and you get so, like, that anxiety creeps into you that I'm over here on the edge of my seat trying to prepare for what's next, and I have no idea what's about to come. There are moments that I was like laughing because I was so anxious and nervous about what was going to happen on the screen or what was actually happening on the screen. I will say every actor in this were phenomenal. They absolutely played a great role in the sense of making me uncomfortable, and that's kind of what I wanted out of this film. Like, I saw the first trailer and I was interested, and then that's it, because again, horror, not my genre, but after the first trailer, I was hooked. So seeing it now with not knowing anything about the one wish or the ramifications of said wish, it's kind of crazy. And I'm just glad that I have a loving wife who said I do under her own will, because wow, this movie blew my mind in so many ways. I will say, though, some negatives that I have about it. It takes a hot minute for it to get going. I was sitting there waiting and just like, okay, when are we going to actually pick up and things are going to get good? And once they do, it's nonstop. I was on the edge of my seat from that moment. Also, again, no spoilers, but if you are a pet owner, yeah, that's all I'm going to say. But overall, look, again, I've said it in this video multiple times, and I'll say it throughout these videos that we continue doing them. Horror is not my typical go-to, but this movie right here was my horror movie of the year. I absolutely love it, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. So that's my thoughts. I'm going to kick it over to Steven and see what he has to think about the movie as well.
Thank you, JT. And I do want to go through and give you guys a proper review. I don't want to spoil too much or say too much, but starting from the top, we have our protagonist Bear, obviously our antagonist Nikki, and he goes through, and this all starts because he made a wish from a one-wish willow that Nikki would love him more than anybody in the world. And from that moment on, literally from the snap of the one wish willow, the movie snowballs. It goes from 0 to 100, and there is honestly no break in between. You are sitting there, and like JT said, you are anxious, you're at the edge of your seat, you are laughing because you can't believe what is happening, and just the amount of shit that Bear goes through is just buck wild. I will say that his best friend is fantastic. His name is Ian. I thought he was a really good support character for Bear because he's almost just like that. He's your best friend that just you are not on the same page with. You just don't understand why they're the way they are, but they're your best friends. You know, I feel like we all have a friend that's kind of like that, where it's like, I don't know why we're best friends, but we are best friends, and I love you, but we do not see eye to eye on this. That's exactly what Ian is to Bear. And Sarah, their other friend, is really close with Nikki, is also really close with his whole friend group. You see at the beginning of the movie, they open it up at them at a bar. They're just having a good time. They're partying, playing trivia, and I think the movie does a really good job at laying that foundation. For later in the movie, they give you all these core core moments and these little details of the characters just for at the middle and the end of the movie. They sprinkle those in, and you instantly remember why. That's what this movie does a really good job of. I thought another thing too that was really fun was that the writing and the acting were hand in hand. It felt natural. It didn't feel forced. There weren't any lines of dialogue where I was like, okay. Everything felt the way that it should have, and I absolutely loved it. Every single minute of this movie was well written. It was well thought out. It answered a lot of questions that I had while watching the movie. There was a particular point in the movie, and I don't want to spoil anything, where I'm sitting there going, why doesn't Bear just do this? And it literally felt like the movie snapped, looked at me, and literally the movie explained why they couldn't do what I wanted them to do. And I just thought that was such a cool moment. I was sitting there in the theater like, okay, I get it now. So that was absolutely fantastic. Through and through, this movie has a lot of good scares. It has a lot of funny moments too, honestly. Andy Richter was a fun support character in the movie as well. He was in the background for a lot of things, had a few lines of dialogue, and maybe as a Conan fan, I'm just a huge Andy Richter fan. But when it comes down to the scares of the movie, I am someone who is very jumpy at the slightest things. I can show you guys some clips of me playing games with friends, and the littlest things get me going, and my heart rate just excels.
Oh, me dry. Oh,
So this movie was probably not for people who are very jumpy, because there are some really creepy moments. For example, there is a scene where Nikki is standing in the doorway of the kitchen and the living room, and she just does this. It's just maybe it's the weird motion, but she does this weird walk backwards. I did not like that. Also, Nikki standing in the corner of the bedroom watching Bear sleep. Fuck that shit. Absolutely not. I do not like that whatsoever. I don't like weird behaviors. Hereditary, that movie fucked me up because of Toni Collette and her weird behaviors. Midsummer had really weird shit going on, and the guy falling onto the rock. I just, that is fuck shit, and I'm not here for it. I just don't do that kind of stuff. So when it comes down to horror movies, they know how to get me, and they really do a good job of it in this movie. The kills were brutal. There were some really fun and crazy kills, I will say. But I really enjoyed it. And you'll know what I mean when you see it. When I say kills, I'm not talking about like 5, 10, 15 people. It's like 1 to 2 moments. But they stand out, and they really stand out as well. There's a lot of fun little Easter eggs, but overall, I thought this movie was fantastic. Enough of me rambling. I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments if you've seen Obsession or if you want to see Obsession. I hope this changes your mind and makes you want to go to the theater. But other than that, make sure to lock your doors, follow past the silver screen, and we'll catch you next time.
Let's look past them together.